What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mistick's MMOs. I'm your host, Mistick Raven. Alright, so my Magicka Draonknight build for the Deadlands. I am really far behind on the live server, so I'm putting these builds together on the PTS so you can get the jump on these builds when it comes to console. Okay, so here we go. No trial sets necessary, and damage output is extremely hot. With that said, I want to introduce you to Sear. All right, let's go ahead and get into the character sheet here. 32,000 max Magicka, recovery 1,297. I am a Dunmer. If you want to use another race, you can. I just prefer Dunmer on the DK. You can use a high elf, you can use an orc. You know, those races are really good as well. Everything's been allocated into max Magicka. We are using Ghastly Eyeballs, and we're going to be using the Thief Mundus. Okay. Our spell crit is at 65. Spell damage currently 41, weapon 33, and our resistance I haven't allocated, and our penetration is at a nice 5,395. So we're good there. We're all good. Back bar, we're going to drop a little bit of that crit, but we're still over 32,000 on max Magicka, still almost at 20k. Recovery 1297. Now when we drink the pot, you'll see our weapon crit goes up to 65 on this bar and 53 on this bar. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the sets. Okay, you're going to want to get the Maelstrom daggers. It's a must-have for this build. You don't need Perfected. Perfected will give you a little bit of extra weapon and spell damage, but you don't need it. Why? Oh, why the Maelstrom daggers? Well, I think the meta players, you know, like to play catch up. It's not that like they could ever actually keep up in this race, and of course me being back, it kind of burns their butts a little bit. But this you want, because when you deal damage with Flurry, your single target damage over time abilities within 4 seconds gain 1,690 spell and weapon damage, making your dots the hottest in the game. Oh yeah, that's how we do it. Of course, we want this precise. One's glyphed with fire damage, and the other one is with stamina recovery and physical damage. Okay, you can switch that if you want. I just like to recoup a little bit of stamina on heavy attacks if I need to recover stamina. All right. The second set, the primary set we're going to use is a Burning Spell Weave. Now this it's infused with weapon damage enchantment, which increases our weapon and spell damage by 452 for 5 seconds. Remember, infuse reduces the cooldown, so you're going to be able to keep the uptime a lot more consistent. Now, tanks usually use this monster set, behemoths, but tanks don't always have it. Now, if the tank has it, switch to Damahas. But if the tank doesn't have it, you want this on the DK. Why? Because dealing flame damage to an enemy grants you the aura for 12 seconds, reducing flame damage taken, but increasing your flame damage by 5%. So if the tank doesn't have this, you want it. If the tank has it, you switch to Damahas. Okay. This is infused, max health. Once again, we avoid what? Diminishing returns. Our secondary set, of course, is going to be Mothers. It's a good static set. It gives us all a max Magicka and all of our critical values. Now keep in mind, we're running two. I repeat this, 2 medium. We want our monster set to be medium. Why? Of course, There's been a lot of changes, and because of these changes, we're going to get the spell and weapon damage from the agility, and we're going to get a critical damage modifier with dexterity. Very important that you have that. You want your critical dots to deal more damage. All right. And of course, we're going to use 5 light. And of course, that's going to give us our prodigy and our enough penetration with the CP allocation. So we're good there as well. Now, we're going to go ahead with light mothers, divine, waist, pants, hands, breeches, and feet. All mothers, divine, max magicka. Then we're going to use burning spell weave jewelry. 2 infused, 1 bloodthirsty, all spell damage. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get into the skills here. Primary bar. We're using the Maelstrom daggers, so we have to use rapid strikes. It's not going to deal an insane amount of damage compared to the stam because we are a mag tune, but keep in mind, what's it do? It gives us a ton of towards our dots. With that said, we're going to use degeneration. Now notice currently degen's only dealing 15,000 over 12 seconds. That's going to go up. But we also want to use the burning embers. This is going to be a huge dot when we proc up. Our race against time, this gives us our minor force and of course our major expedition. We're going to use flames of oblivion. While it's slotted, it's going to give us our critical value towards our major prophecy and major savagery. That's very important for major savagery with the rapid strikes. That's why we want to go ahead and keep this slotted here. We want the both. Flawless Dawnbreaker for scaling. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. You want to take advantage of that Slayer passive, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 3%. Keep in mind we're in 2 medium, so we're getting an additional 6% from the medium armor passive. Okay, lightning staff bar. We're going to use eruption. Nice dot. This helps proc up our burning spell weave. Also, we're going to use burning talons. This is a nice synergy AoE. If you want to replace this with orbs, you can, but you're going to be in the melee combat, so I suggest keeping it because you're dealing what? Flame damage, and you get that nice bonus from the monster set. Unstable Wall of Storms for a nice another AoE effect. I really like Wall of Storm. Once again, if you want to put orbs here, have at it. That's a nice flex spot. If anything, you can use this as a nice flex spot. Engulfing Flames. This is going to be a huge AoE dot, but since it applies to each target, it still counts as a single target dot that's going to be procced from the Maelstrom daggers. Of course, we're going to have Camouflage Hunter on this side for that Slayer, and then of course our Shooting Star, and we're going to have 1 Mage Guild ability on each bar, thus giving us an extra Magicka recovery by 2%. Really, really nice how this is all laid out. I really like this setup. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it and show you guys the modified stats. Now when we go in, we're at 71 with 71 crit. Really, really nice. Now I want to go ahead and show you what our dots look like. So now after we use this ability, we're up to 26,000 on degen, 22 on this, on our Burning Embers. We do it again, we go back, and now look at our Engulfing Flame. Proc up this, and then we go back, and now we're at 20,000 over 14 seconds. Oh yeah, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here, so take off now. Don't do it. Anyways, there you guys have it. there you have it. Sear. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's hot. It's hot in here. Yo, Meta, you ain't gonna let me do this, are you? You ain't gonna let me show you up? Sit down. Alright, as always, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. Have a nice day, y'all.